Diversity is the accounting and mindfulness of our commonalities and differences. Often organizations have focused on one of those aspects or the other. Differences are easy to see. Communication styles, social backgrounds, gender and race are often the aspects where we draw lines of difference. The Equal Opportunity Employment Commission, the Americans with Disabilities Act and Title IX, gender equality in educations are all attempts to heal the systemic harms caused by false inferiority and undervalued gifts that differences offer. Yet, when we look at the core motivations of human beings, we can recognize we are all seeking safety, significance, and belonging. The human experience provides for us many similar challenges and experiences that require universal responses. We need safe spaces to develop. We long to love and be loved, and desire a community where our talents can be utilized. Our methods may be very different. The words we use to express our core values may have contextual meaning, and many of the desires we seek may look very different. It is these human commonalities that allow us to look past our superficial differences and unite around common goals. Yes, working with differences comes at a cost, but groups that value and leverage diversity achieve greater performance and more impact. It is not easy and requires attention and work. This is the call of leaders and servant leadership. Diversity is the accounting of and recognition of our commonalities and differences. We express and attempt to reach our common goals in different ways. We can discuss methods when they differ, when we remind ourselves and the people we work with that we share many of the same values. 3 things to remember. We are more alike than we are different. We have common goals and we express them differently. We can build strength by recognizing and accepting our differences. 3 things to do. Acknowledge visible and invisible differences and commonalities. For example, learning styles, personality preference, cultural backgrounds. Require team members to regularly change roles, responsibilities, and work with people they don't work with often. Encourage team members to continue to build relationships outside of the working sessions. Equity is about how we treat people. A word picture that is often used when explaining equity and its counterpart, equality, with that equality is making sure that everyone has shoes, while equity is making sure people have shoes that fit. Let's take this one step further and ask this question. Why do we want shoes that fit people? Political correctness has done most of us an intellectual disservice by socially mandating what can and cannot be thought or spoken. We would be better served by asking the question and demanding answers to this question. Why would I want to call them? Or, how does that behaviour help the situation? We know that human potential most often rises and falls to the level of expectation of leaders, parents, teachers, or police officers. Equity is about how we create space for the maximising of human development by removing or mitigating barriers that only get in the way of development. Bureaucracies are systems designed to benefit those who create them, even at the detriment of those who use the systems. Equality is about fairness, but we only have to turn to our early upbringing to see the fallacy of that mindset. Life is not fair is often the anthem of parenting. Equity is unfair. It is about learning what works, what motivates, and how we eliminate barriers that limit human potential. It is unfair for stadiums to provide 2 women's lavatories to every 1 male lavatory. Yes, a 2-to-1 ratio, or gender-neutral spaces. Who benefits? We all do. Equality is about fairness. Equity is unfair. It is about learning what works. As leaders, we must be critical and systemic to find the methods, resources, and approaches that bring out the best of our group as we seek to build competence and character. 3 things to remember. Equality focuses on fairness of opportunity. Equity focuses on quality of outcome. Equity may look like different treatment. 3 things to do. Define your goal or desired outcomes for diversity and equity. Think about the many paths to that goal or outcome, given your group's diversity. Remove barriers or procedures that keep them safe. Builds character, but may limit the group's ability to reach the goals. There is no inherent conflict between human beings. People have to be taught to dislike each other. What we typically refer to as conflict is often differing methods to a similar goal. High context cultures, low context cultures, personality types, personal preferences could all be sources of perceived conflicts, when in fact they are more about our approaches to goal attainment. We want similar things, but not all the same things. We can engage in interpersonal conflict, which are often rooted in our worldview. It is important as leaders to recognize the difference between personal conflict and conflict around ideas or solutions. Conflict around ideas or solutions also have emotional attachments that require the leader to engage the emotional responses, address the concerns, and help the group move towards the shared goals. We don't all want the same things. There is more than one car company. Our gene selection is almost limitless, and the resources we seek to advance our lives can be augmented, replaced, or repurposed. How we communicate could also be a source of conflict. Conflicts in communication often result from a lack of understanding culture, a lack of time building relationships, and a lack of understanding core motivations. Many individuals would rather avoid conflict. As leaders, we must use our tools of communication to help navigate perceived conflict. understanding group dynamics. Bruce Tuckman in 1965 said that these norming, forming, storming, and performing phases are all necessary and inevitable in order for the team to grow, face up to challenges, tackle problems, find solutions, plan work, and deliver results. As a leader, it is important to use the tool of communication to navigate individuals and groups through conflict to results. Also concern orientation. Members attempt to become oriented to the tasks as well as to one another. Discussion centers around defining the scope of the task, how to approach it, and similar concerns. To grow from this stage to the next, each member must relinquish the comfort of non-threatening topics and risk the possibility of conflict. The responsibility and have the ambition to work for the success of the team's goals. They start tolerating the whims and fancies of other team members. They accept others as they are and make an effort to move on. The danger here is that members may be so focused on preventing conflict that they are reluctant to share controversial ideas. Performing with group norms and roles established, group members focus on achieving common goals, often reaching an unexpectedly high level of success. By this time, they are motivated and knowledgeable. The team members are now competent, autonomous, and able to handle the decision-making process without supervision. Dissent is expected and allowed, as long as it is channeled through means acceptable to the team. Character and integrity of the other participants, and feel compelled to voice these opinions if they find someone shirking responsibility or attempting to dominate. Sometimes, participants question the actions or decision of the leader as the expedition grows harder. Disagreements and personality clashes must be resolved before the team can progress out of this stage, and so some teams may never emerge from storming or re-enter that phase if new challenges or disputes arise. In Tuckman's 1965 paper, only 50% of the studies identified a stage of intergroup conflict, and some of the remaining studies jumped directly from stage 1 to stage 3. Some groups may avoid the phase altogether, but for those who don't, the duration, intensity, and destructiveness of the storms can be varied. Tolerance of each team member and their differences should be emphasized. Without tolerance and patience, the team will fail. This phase can become destructive to the team and will lower motivation if allowed to get out of control. Some teams will never develop past this stage. However, disagreements within the team can make members stronger, more versatile, and able to work more effectively as a team. Supervisors of the team during this phase may be more accessible, but tend to remain directive in their guidance of decision-making and professional behaviour. The team members will therefore resolve their differences, and members will be able to participate with one another more comfortably. The ideal is that they will not feel that they are being judged, and will therefore share their opinions and views. Normally, tension, struggle, and sometimes arguments occur. This stage can also be upsetting. There is no inherent conflict between human beings. Although we may want many of the same things, how we attain these things may be quite different. People have to be taught to dislike each other. As the song states from the musical South Pacific, to hate and fear, you gotta be taught. From year to year, it's gotta be drummed into your deaf ear. you gotta be carefully thought. 3 things to think about. Conflict is often rooted in a perception that goals can't or won't be accomplished or reached. Conflict can be mitigated when we seek to understand culture, goals, and motivation. While servant leadership is a timeless concept, the phrase servant leadership was coined by Robert K. Greenleaf in The Servant as Leader, an essay that he first published in 1970. In that essay, Greenleaf said, "The servant leader is servant first. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then, conscientious choice brings one to aspire to lead. That person is sharply different from one who is leader first, perhaps because of the need to assuage an unusual power to drive or to acquire material possessions. The leader first and the servant first are 2 extreme types. Between them are shadings and blends that are part of the infinite variety of human nature. The difference manifests itself in the care taken by the servant first to make sure that other people's highest priority needs are being served. The best test, and difficult to administer, is, do those served grow as persons? Do they, while being served, become healthier, wiser, freer, more autonomous, more likely themselves to become servants? And what is the effect on the least privileged in society? Will they benefit? Servant leadership is about building the capacity of the group to solve their problems, come up with a solution, and take actions that you as the leader help facilitate. As the leader, it is important that one focuses the group on its ability to respond to challenges to the goal, and not rely on the leader as the only source of knowledge and inspiration. The leader's job is to help them do the work. 3 things to think about. Servant leadership is mission and people focused. Power, resource, and influence is accumulated in the service of the mission or the group. Your gifts and talents are designed to advance the groups and not yourself, although you may gain much from the group's success. 3 things to do. Keep the goals of the group as the central focus. It is the group's job to do things. Make sure that the group does not focus primarily on one person or small group to do the majority of the work. Engage all group members and share knowledge and resources as much and as often as you can. Leader as coach. A coach is one who teaches, develops, and helps their group identify obstacles that prevent their ability to achieve common goals. Coaching is about strategically and tactfully asking the right questions, providing the space to create answers that make sense for the group in its context. Coaches employ the Socratic method, asking questions that will get the group to think, often in new and different ways. Asking strategic questions guides thinking. Fácil, in Spanish, means easy. It is the leader's responsibility to make the group's work easy by creating space for group problem solving. Leaders as coach don't look to solve problems, but is seen as the facilitator of processes where the group creates the value for the actions they will choose to take. The leader may see a faster or simpler way and want to help the team. This, however, in many circumstances, will delay the skill development of the group. Coach takes time, and when practiced, the group develops in ways or creates solutions that the leader may not have even thought of. Coaches are thoughtful, energetic, passionate, and lead by example. Leader as coach is really about the development of the team, modeling, teaching, and correcting their skills and character development with a goal in mind. Coaches look for the unique gift or talent in each individual's and works to develop a team that complement and accentuates these talents towards a common goal. 3 things to think about. Coaches are more focused on development. Knowing success comes from sound foundational skills. Coaches are strategic in the use of discipline, reward, and critical feedback, all focused on the development of their team, and are comfortable with small failures, as these lead to greater understanding and higher performance. Coaches make complex processes accessible and seem easy, as they require experience in the practicing of those skills. 3 things to do. Instruct, offer opportunities for guided practice, and offer continued support. Build on the failures and successes of the group, teachable moments. Model what you want your group to be. Hold Leader as mediator. Being a leader means you must be a source of inspiration for groups you serve. You must sense when morale is low and do something that revitalizes them. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change you wish to see." So, if you want upbeat, take initiative type individuals, it starts with your modeling. Leaders look to clarify goals while bringing the diversity of thought, attitudes, mindsets, and behaviors to work in concert towards goals. Leadership in this role requires decisive decision-making and the building of consensus to work towards the goal in the face of disagreement. Mediators understand culture, context, communication styles, conflict styles, and work to get the group through conflict, upholding the highest values of the group. Helping groups navigate through challenges together and encouraging them to do more than they set up to accomplish takes a leader who is committed to helping the group be decisive and own successes and failures is the hallmark of this leadership style. 3 things to think about. You must be a source of inspiration and encouragement. Mediators must have or voice minority opinions that might not otherwise be heard. Must make sound, decisive decisions once all the information has been gathered. 3 things to do. Keeps the diversity of skills, thoughts, and backgrounds focused on the accomplishment of goals. Look for solutions that help develop character, individual skill, and group effectiveness. Work to continue understanding the role context, culture, and conflict play in processes of group decision-making.